My mathematical identity. To look at my mathematical identity, I started with my past. I'm not a fan of math. I never have been, and I hope to become one, but I've never had the best experiences when it comes to math. It all started in third grade when I moved from a school district in Long Island to the third best school district in New York State in Buffalo. I soon found out that I was very behind by the school standards. In second grade, these students learn multiplication, and I haven't even heard of multiplication coming into third grade. When my teacher found this out, instead of working with me and starting to help me understand these concepts, she automatically said that I needed a tutor. The school threatened to move me down to second grade, saying that I was behind by their standards. And it was very traumatizing because I was already one of the older kids in my grade. I didn't want to be a third grader in second grade. Luckily, I had a great tutor who, even though she helped me with my multiplication facts, it was a memorization, but for my schooling, that's the way we learn, so I caught up. But it just made me dislike math because going into those math time tests, multiplication 1 minute tests, just scared me to no end, gave me much anxiety, and they put a whole twist to it where you got a taco party, and every time you passed, you got to gain a topping on your taco. And I was pretty sure that I was not gonna be able to go to this taco party because I just did not think I was gonna be able to master these multiplication facts. Um, so that's one of my biggest things I dislike about math is, I'm being told I'm just not trying hard enough, and I just need to keep working at it and memorize and memorize and memorize. And the teachers just wanted me to catch up. They didn't care if I actually understood what I was doing, just as long as I could pass the third grade tests. And I always struggle with memorization tests, so this just made math one of my least favorite subjects. Um, I just don't like I like teachers who let me figure out how to do things on my own and just, even though it's not the procedure they taught me, it still gets me to the right answer, and I just was able to figure things out on my own. But most teachers, especially as long as I can remember, was here's the formula and let's just move on and make sure you have it memorized. For presents, I'm still very unconfident when it comes to math. I have a fixed mindset that you're either good at math or you're not good at math. And in my case, I feel I'm very bad at math. I'm very anxiety filled when it comes to it. This math class, I was like, oh, great, here we go again, math, lots of memorization. So I was very surprised and actually very happy when we started learning about how it's not about memorization and that it's more of a student based approach, what will be best for them, which I think is what math needs to be because not all kids think the same way, but in math, we're treating them that way, and I don't think that's right. I believe my strengths in math, although I don't feel I have many, is I love algebra. I love problem solving and puzzles and finding X and Y and plotting things. Um, and just basically like, learning hands on. I need to be hands on, not memorization. I can't sit there and memorize formulas, and it just doesn't work. And I'm very pleased that we're moving away from the here's the formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's more, yes, there's formulas, but how can you use this formula in your own way? Um, with everything I've learned so far with this class, I hope to gain more confidence and that I can do math. I just haven't been given the proper tools to figure it out as my own. Um, and I'm very excited to learn more of the student approach to math. The more of here's a problem, a real life problem. Let's get together and, come up with some different ideas and being able to embrace those mistakes because I feel also, kids, especially me, were always afraid to put their hand up. And, when it was the wrong answer, all the kids looked at you and you were like, oh, I got the answer wrong. Well, I'm just not smart because I didn't get the answer wrong. But that's not true. We should be embracing those mistakes and going back and being like, oh, this is where we got things wrong. For the future, I want to have a classroom where all students, use math in a way that works for them. I want them to be able to come in and not feel like Miss Ader is going to give me a memorization and I better have them all memorized. And if I don't, I fail. Because failing, it's too much of a big deal these days. Kids feel they need to get A's, 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 but they don't embrace that. Mistakes make us who we are. I did horrible in geometry, but it haunts me instead of, you know what, I made mistakes, but I can learn from them now. One of the math practices that I definitely want to use is math practice 1, making sense of problems and persevere in solving them. I want kids to once again realize there's going to be mistakes. They're not going to get the answer the first time, most of the time, if not a majority, you know. So I just want kids to be able to come in and learn and enjoy the process and figure out what works for them and what doesn't. And I want to make sure I have those counters and snap cubes and Cuisinart rods so that kids like me who need more hands-on approach or just to visualize it or just to solve it in a different way will have that opportunity to use those materials and not feel like, it's this big thing that I have to use something else. Just a section where they can go get it, use it, no questions asked. I also love the idea of the tablecloth poster where kids can work on their own individuals and then kids get to critique it. It's not the red pen marking, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, this is where you went wrong. It's kids saying, I agree, I disagree, I would add here, or this is a really good idea. Um, I think kids need to learn from their peers just as much as they do a teacher. So the tablecloth poster is a really great tool that I hope to utilize, as well as Think, Pair, Share. Just being able to bounce ideas off each other and have that ability to talk through, hey, I'm here, but I don't know quite how to get to the end. Maybe you can help me. This is how I started. Or I have the answer, but I'm still not quite sure maybe how I got there. So that is my math identity. I'm very hopeful for this semester and just hope that overall math will become one of my favorite things to not only teach, but to get kids excited about as well.